Well, hello and welcome to this week's version of the Great Northern Sex Cast. I'm Kelly Guest.
I'm Colleen Bertino.
And who do we have in the house this week?
You have Megan.
Yay!
Lucky you.
Well, guys, we are fresh off of Crypticon weekend.
Fresh is a relative term. We are rough off of Crypticon weekend.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, rotten meat, right? So how was it?
Oh, it was fantastic.
Was it fun?
3 days of just awesomeness. We got our room together, and not to toot our own horn, but toot. It looked amazing. It looked so good. We had people coming in all night just loving it. We had people who kept coming into the room who had been there like for the past 2 years. They're like, oh, we couldn't wait to come back and win more prizes and see you guys again. And
my favorite part is it was truly creepy because it was a carnival theme. And to some extent, carnival, I mean, it's sort of like a 1920s, 1930s carnival vibe. And it was just, I was like, it is not my thing. And I was horribly disturbed in a really good way.
oh, it was we had one of our mannequins, Phyllis, and she is she is a brick house. She's our plus size mannequin. She's super sexy. But since we were carnival, we put her in this terrifying clown mask and suit, and I didn't know where they had put it, and I came in before everyone else. All the lights were off. Turn around, just scream, like scared the crap out of me. And I was like, "Well, good job, guys. That one worked really well."
They had an eyeball toss for free stuff. They they had a very large like knife target, and it just took. Folks just were dragging everyone, doing tons of photos. It was so much fun. I got a picture up on the main Fantasy Gifts Facebook site of some of the staff. Just going through there, and there's some other pictures so you can sort of see what's going on.
Because we all had to be in costume too, so all the staff working in the room had to dress up as well.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that was so hard for you.
It was very difficult. It was difficult because I was a super nerd and had planned out my cosplay outfits like months in advance, and they didn't quite fit with the theme, so I had to do some adjusting at the last minute.
So what was the what were some of the prizes that you guys gave away?
DVDs, sex toys, some of our coochie cream and body sprays.
Nice. There's always dildos, always vibrators, always cock rings. Because what happens is that the companies will just send. They don't send one sample. We get like half a dozen. So, we play with a couple of them, and then the rest of them we just leave, and then we use for prizes, and that's what it's meant for.
Oh, nice.
My favorite, someone pulled out something. A lucky lady, I believe, dressed as a colonial marine, pulled out it was called the Devil's Tongue. Vibrator, and it was like red and tongue shaped, and I was like, oh, that looks sweet.
Super fun. So Crypticon, a raving success?
I would say so, yes. I mean, we actually went through all the prizes. Everything's gone. We had a line out the door, people waiting to come in and play the eyeball bounce game. So, yeah, it went really well. Really well.
Built a beautiful pop-up Fantasy Gifts. We look for, it's something fun. And we've got a lot of social media response to it. Because a lot of times people just bitch and moan when they don't like something. Mm-hmm. So to go out of your way and to say, we loved your room, that's going through there. They were posting pictures from the room and stuff like that. It was just nice to know that we've connected with some of our, customers in a place that they don't really expect us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And so just one other last thing. So you guys were there and you had the room all weekend. Did you see the winners, the people that won the tickets that you guys gave away in the contest?
I know one of the couples stopped by the table. I was only in the room Friday night. I was not in there Saturday. So I think they did stop by the room when I was not present, unfortunately.
Cool.
But yeah.
And we had some, and they had some stars stop by. We got autographs from Ginger Lynn. Some of the other folks that were guests stopped into the room. Posted a picture of name Chris Mulk.
Chris Mulkey,
yeah. So he stopped in, and if you don't recognize his name, go to IMDb and you'll go, oh my God, the guy's been in everything. And which is really pleasant. A lot of times we don't, he seemed to be just a really cool guy, and folks just go through and they just have a good time because I don't begrudge anyone if someone's willing to pay someone for their autograph. go for it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really nice when they're comfortable enough to just walk around too and just be everyday people.
Yeah, all the celebrities were really, really nice. I know, like Lance Henriksen in particular, there was a pre-party on Thursday, and he was just getting drunk with everyone in the bar, having a ball, and they were all really friendly and chatty, and they just, like, they go outside and have a cigarette or something, and then just hang out with the fans, and it's a really, Crypticon in general, I think, is a really great experience because it's big enough to get some people you'd like to see, but not too big that they're just at a table. We had David Naughton, the guy from American Werewolf in London, was next to us, our fantasy gifts table, all weekend long. They're not cordoned off with ropes. They're just hanging out right there.
That's
And I chatted to him a little bit. I tried really hard not to nerd out on him too bad. And
Isn't that so funny when you're checking yourself in a situation like that? It's like, okay, I'm walking a line here. I'm going to be good.
It was definitely a little tough. I was like, you're the best werewolf transformation and werewolf movie ever made. Do you know that? Okay, yeah, you do, because I hear people telling it to you the 5 hours that I've been here.
I know, but somehow you just have to, you have to get yours in there too.
Right. It doesn't count unless it comes from me.
Exactly.
That's the thing, because people try and figure out how we fit into a con like that. And I go, well, it's because people are having fun.
Yeah.
And when people are having fun, they like to shop.
And
it works out, and it really is that the fantasy, whether it's horror fantasy or whether it's science fiction fantasy or whether it's any fantasy, it all goes together, and they're just more comfortable. And so they'll talk to the stars. They talk to. It's amazing what they'll talk about to our employees in the room. Yeah, they just let let their fantasy fly no matter what it is. It's spectacular.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, speaking of fantasies, I came up with one on the way in today. I know there's so many fantasies out there, and you got to see a lot of them played out over the weekend at Crypticon, of course. I have a new one that I'm sad to say is not sexual, but I want a road rage court, and I want because I had a guy. Seriously, you guys, seriously. It's green light. I'm turning right onto 94. Guy turning left literally tried to cut in front of me. And I kept going because I wanted him so badly to hit me so that he would have to get the ticket for going, But have you guys noticed lately that people have decided that right of way, they're pretty much exempt or they don't know about it? Have you noticed that lately with those left turn people?
It has been frustrating. I live only 3.5 miles from my house to my work. And at least once a day, I see a blatant red light running. At least once a day, someone tries to occupy my exact same spot on the road that my car is in. And I drive a red car. So it's not like on this gray day, because today is a gray day, that my gray car is, not, it's not easily visible. And or the fact that someone just randomly goes over to the left side of the road to make a right turn, or randomly goes over to the right side of the road to make a left turn. And I'm like, I don't know. I know it would be inconvenience, but I'm thinking that maybe people should redo a driver's test like every 5 or 10 years.
I swear. So here's the thing. I mean, let's just say it was pretty cozy there, and I decided not to back down, which quite frankly is stupid, but I don't care. I was so incensed. And of course, he couldn't hear me, but I'm pretty sure that fucking prick was pretty easy to lip read from the proximity. Because Megan, he was probably no further away than you are from me right now.
Wow.
And right there. I mean, and I'm like, really? But wouldn't you just love to be able to haul those people in and ask them? So just out of curiosity, do you not fucking know what right of way means, or do you just feel above it? You arrogant son of a bitch. Wouldn't you love to be able to do that? Just please once.
But I'm sure that'll be their answer. They're like, oh, well, I was trying to get somewhere.
Yeah.
It's all about me, right?
Yeah, some folks really don't think that the rules apply to them. Now mind you, there are rules and have been in the entirety of history that are stupid.
Oh yeah.
But pretty much the rules of the road are there to keep you from not dying.
Thank you. That was my little rant for the day. I'm sorry.
No, that's just fine.
It just was crazy nuts. Okay, so we got to go to the news segment here, and we have to start from Florida because it's
I
always
heart the Florida.
I heart the Florida. I do too. So I don't think I've ever heard this before. This is a new one on moi. there was a police standoff. And, you know, you might be thinking suicide by cop. You might thinking, you know, would we have a hostage scenario? No, they're surrounded, and they ended up deciding that they were going to screw one more time before he gets taken to jail.
Okay, no, wait a minute. The officers are going to screw? No, wait a minute.
No, the two,
the perpetrators.
The perpetrator and his girlfriend made the cops wait with guns drawn while they had a little roll in the hay.
I hope it was a quickie.
Doesn't sound like it. Doesn't sound like it. It was. It says 45 minutes.
Wow.
I know. Bravo, right?
That is impressive.
I thought so too.
Wow. So they had. I mean, all this was going on, and they still went with the foreplay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're going to do well in prison.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what kind of foreplay is happening in prison.
Not all there is that.
So the boyfriend was wanted on several warrants, but she did actually pick up the phone and said, you know, I will surrender as soon as I get done getting laid here. And so that's exactly what happened. The SWAT team negotiators finally showed up, and they gave up the ghost. They were both charged with resisting arrest and false imprisonment. I know.
Who was in prison?
I think the cops were by having to wait.
Gotcha.
That would be my guess. Okay. So
just because they couldn't see any of it, then they wouldn't have minded, I'm sure.
Exactly. So,
Aubrey, what would be the difference between I just want to get laid one more time before we go to jail, or, you know, we've been here for a while, can you send me a pizza?
I think it's pretty good demand, you know, for give me a helicopter and $1 million. No, I just want to have sex one more time.
Get off. I'll be good after that. It's going to be a while. I need to do this. Speaking of other crime, a New Jersey man received a summons. He was let out of municipal court. He was charged with threatening to assault someone. Okay, fine. So he got his summons. He pulled down his pants. He put it between his butt cheeks, wiped it up and down, rumpled it up, and threw it at a cop. Now he's in a hell of a lot more trouble than he originally was.
Yeah, see, that's... Yeah, the bodily fluids thing? No.
Yep.
No. Keep your bodily fluids to yourself unless it's consenting.
It's fourth degree.
Yeah,
it's a 4th degree felony.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's weird because I thought when there was the story
Here.
local, the guy who jerked off in the chick's cup, they couldn't do anything because there weren't fluid laws.
We have them now. It just changed in the last because of that. But in New Jersey, they already had it.
Okay.
This can put him in jail for up to 18 months.
Wow.
Yeah. Throwing bodily fluids. Yeah.
Oh, I feel kind of bad. It seems a little extreme, poor guy.
I'm sorry, but I don't want anything from anybody else's butt.
It's true, but I've wanted to wipe my ass on a few like parking tickets and such. So
There's a reporter for the Huffington Post who I often find that writes stories that are suitable for our show. And can I please just tell you his name because it cracks me up every time I see his byline? Ron Dicker. Dicker. That's really his name. I swear to God. And he brings us one of his latest journalistic feats is about a restaurant in Syracuse called Riley's. They give away free testicles, have a ball. It's an October festival that they have. And what they are, they're lightly breaded, deep-fried buffalo, bull, boar, sheep, and goat testes with a side of ranch. And
ranch seems appropriate.
Right. So they call it the Testicle Festival.
No. Rocky Mountain oyster, stuff like that. I mean, it's not an unheard of food. I always like where people call them delicacies and say, you know, and anything that's weird, people say, well, you know, helps you get an erection or this or that. But
sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they this year, I guess it's gotten so much traction over the years that they had to order an additional 40 pounds this year. Think about how many pounds, think about how many balls, 40 pounds of testicles, even in the bull variety. That's a lot of balls.
So is it like a mixed grill? Do you get a little bit of each in there? Or do you get to like order, I want the goat ones, I don't want the bull. I mean, you know, is there
unclear?
Difference?
Yeah, I wonder if there's got to be, I imagine all of the meat tastes.
Well, the favorite seems to be bison and bull.
No.
Okay.
I could see that.
But they said cooked, they look like a chicken nugget with a softer consistency, maybe like a fried scallop.
Oh,
that gives you a good kind of sense of it.
Well, I've had cow brain tacos, which was sort of like eating
You did?
meat flavored scrambled eggs. So
Ugh.
we were at a Mexican restaurant with my friends, and it said
Where?
it was in the Shakopee eons ago. I don't even know if the restaurant's still there anymore. It was and it said, taco, right? And we said market price, and they're like, "What's the market price?" And they went 50 cents, and we're like, "We will get a brain taco." No, I didn't.
I suppose for 50 cents, we'll give it a shot.
How much tequila had you had at this point?
No, it was after a long day of doing the Renaissance Festival years ago. So it was our Sunday night. Everyone's together, getting dinner and stuff like that. But I mean, if there's market price brain taco on it, I'm not saying that I would go get it again, but I'm like, okay, no. It just sort of tasted like beefy scrambled eggs.
Is that the weirdest thing you've ever eaten?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I eat sweetbreads and liver, and I've had grilled beef heart and innards and stuff like that.
You'll try that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I have a difficult time with is tripe, and I've tried it in a lot of different ways, and I just can't get over the texture on that.
Oh God! Well, what's funny about that? What gets me about tripe is it's menudo. They use it in the soup in Mexican restaurants, and if you are of Latino culture, it's widely known that menudo is like an insanely good hangover cure. And so one day, when I used to partner in real estate with a guy who was Hispanic, my buddy Sal, I was, oh my God. Oh, I was so sick. I was so hungover. I was like 23, right? So he drags me out and he's telling me, I'm like, yeah, Mexican food sounds great. Well, he orders that and he tries to get me to try it. I took one look at it and it was all over. Mm-hmm. I don't know how they can even get close to that stuff when you're hungover. Have you ever had it?
No. I would totally eat some balls, but
it smells good.
I haven't had any of that.
And they chew on it.
No, there's a texture that I cannot. That's just difficult, and because I'm not opposed to a lot of different foods. I mean, I don't think that I'm like Andrew Zimmern, insane when it comes to weird food, but I don't, if like but I'm like, sure, I'll give it a shot. I mean, I'm not, I'm not going to eat just the grilled tarantula, but if the bugs are ground up and put in a protein bar, sure.
Really? Mm-hmm. What about you, Meg?
Well, if I got Andrew Zimmerman's, if I got paid to do it, then I'd eat anything he would eat too, maybe.
Really? Oh, see, I can't. I do not have that kind of constitution. This is something, the next thing up, this comes to us via our friends in the UK. This is going to have to go up on the Facebook page, especially because Halloween is right around the corner here. There is a photo in this British museum. It's at the Torquay Museum. They were taking a picture of an actual exhibit, okay? And in the picture of the exhibit, there appears to be this very, very busty ghost. And, I mean, she is racked out in this picture.
She has big boobies.
Yes, she does. But
we were just talking about boobs on the way over. We're like, everybody likes the boobies. Even the ghosts like the boobies now.
You guys got to see this. This would be great for. So go to Great Northern Sexcast or Facebook and go to our Great Northern Sexcast page. Megan the Wiz will have that up here. But this exhibit was made to look like an English farmhouse 300 years in the past. And so, yeah, and you can't see anything of the sort in the actual exhibit. So, but it shows only in the photo. It's really cool. You guys gotta
interesting.
Check that out. Yeah, boobs. Definitely. Boobs. I should have saved the food questions for the. I found a really weird story about food and sex connections, and I wanted to see if we agree or disagree with some of this. Okay. Talking about.
Well, I like both, so there's a connection.
Right. That's good.
We'll just start right there. I like the foods and the sex.
Yep.
That's good.
So we're talking about, eating better can help your sex life and stuff like that. And, I mean, the obvious crap about, well, if you eat healthy, you'll be healthier and you'll want to have sex more and you'll be, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's just skip that.
Seems reasonable.
Because that's pretty basic crap. But the one is blood flow. And we all know that is critical, particularly to the male side, but all of us really, I mean, in order to be aroused and things like that. So they're talking about the best food for blood flow would be stuff that are rich in L-arginine, okay? Chicken, salmon, soybeans, quinoa. Agree?
Wasn't that the ingredient we get on some of our
yes,
our
we have
stimulants?
Quite a few stimulants that are meant to stimulate blood flow that have that ingredient.
Really?
Yes, that makes
topical,
sense.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Okay, we've got actual boots on the ground proof of that. Mm-hmm. Very cool. Okay. So then testosterone levels increasing. That can't ever, generally for a guy anyway, be a bad thing. So they're saying that super low fat, low cholesterol diet can actually lower testosterone, believe it or not. So they're saying eggs, oysters, lean beef, chicken, and dairy, yogurt, and cheese will get you the zinc and cholesterol for a 1-2 punch, hopefully not raising the cholesterol level, but keeping the testosterone there.
Yeah, once again, everything in moderation. I mean, they were just, this week, several things ran across my news feeds and stuff like that about how cheese is addictive. Cheese can be as addictive as drugs. And I'm like, well, no shit.
Yeah, right?
I crave cheese like you wouldn't believe, and I can't have it anymore. I mean, I longingly look at a freaking pizza. This is not
you
good.
lactose intolerant?
Oh, yeah, I can't do that.
Oh, wow.
It's very bad. But yeah, I have, I saw all this, and I went, duh. Of course cheese is addictive.
What happens to you if you consume? Is it bad?
Yeah, it's bad.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know any. You're the only one I know that's lactose intolerant.
Probably nothing we want to talk about.
No.
Okay.
No.
Probably.
Or our listeners would like to hear about.
Those that know, no.
Okay.
I don't know. I'd be like, I'm fucking shit myself. I want some cheese.
No, no, food. There is everything about food that is sensual. I mean, just the process of cooking it, working with your hands and your mouth, and I mean, food is sensual. You need it to live.
That's true.
It is.
Speaking of that, I did something kind of out of the box last night, food wise. I was presented with this giant slab of venison, which I have never eaten or cooked before in my life.
So good.
And
So yummy.
And yeah, well, God bless him. My boyfriend's one of his employees. He's a great cook, particularly great baker, but somehow he'd gotten his hands on this venison from his family. And so Carl said, make me some stew, please. And I'm like, I don't know how to do this, so Google is a beautiful thing. And so is myrecipes.com. Found what sounded good to me. And oh my God, you guys, I slow cooked it overnight, and I just tasted the broth. I haven't tried the actual venison yet, but the stew itself was pretty amazing. Do you guys, are you lifelong venison lovers, you two?
I've always liked it. I don't hunt. I just need to, beg, borrow, and steal it off of my friends that are hunters, or if I do see it on a menu, I will immediately order it. But generally it has been either sausage or some really quick grilled, grilled rare, a little salt on, over
I
coals.
get a lot of jerky out of it too.
Yeah, I've heard that's really good, but I've never tried it. I have I found this really interesting little meat processing / shop where I live now. And, it's total mom and pop. And, on a Monday, you'll see people pulling up with a hoof sticking out of the back of the truck.
Right.
Right. But they sell it. So if you guys want some, let me know. And they're and I love going in there because it's family, and there's 9 people working in this little tiny area, and they're all super cool. I don't know. Don't you just love
No,
those?
yeah, I know that food does not arrive in the grocery store in styrofoam. And so it's nice knowing where your food's coming from.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a carnivore. I eat meat. I understand, understand how that goes. And if I can help, mom and pop, I always figure I'm a local business. I should help other local businesses.
Oh, it's so fun. Well, you know what else they have? They have eggs that are from right up the street.
There's nothing better than that.
Oh. The brown egg, they're brown eggs. But the other thing that tickles me, do you guys ever eat spaghetti squash? Have you ever had that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that's sort of a sexy food because it's sort of
very sexy food.
That's the thing. I mean, a meal made, for someone and that you're sharing with someone. There is really not much sexier than that. I mean, okay, there are, but still, you know what I mean.
Now I'm just imagining you covering people in squash.
No,
it tastes like pasta.
Oh, well, I like that.
It really
I'm down
does.
with that.
And it's it's really amazing, and it shreds like spaghetti. It's crazy.
Yeah, you bake it up, you shred it out with a fork, put a little marinara or a little brown butter and
Pesto's
sage on
good
it.
too. With it. I've even had it with Alfredo, and it doesn't suck. But they have spaghetti. Somebody there grows it, right? So those things are, they're big, okay? And they're $5-6 at the grocery store. $2. I can go get my. I love that, and it's free range spaghetti squash. Okay. So muscle mass, guys. Another thing, they're telling us that you got to make sure you've got to eat your venison and your protein that's full of amino acids. And they're talking about making sure that you don't overdo it, don't go fully Atkins on the bit. Be able to balance it and stuff like that. But the muscle mass keeps your energy level up. And they're saying for that.
Oh, yeah, you got to have the energy.
Yeah, they're saying stay away from, and this bugs me though, added sugars and refined carbs, which means the Reese's cups are out the damn window.
No.
But they're
Everything in
saying,
moderation.
yeah, but they're saying the whole grains are good. Agree, disagree?
One thing, I mean, if you're eating pre-digested food, which is what a lot of times processed food means, and it's not all the time, your body just goes through it faster, and it doesn't have time to get everything out of it. So that's why the people just rail over white flour and white sugar and the rice that's had the bran removed and all those sort of things, because it just goes through you too fast and you can't get everything out of it. If that is, believe me, an absolute total Cliff's Notes version of how that crap works. But yeah, once again, everything in moderation. Now, mind you, there is nothing. Okay, I'm telling you, there is nothing that tastes better than a Halloween snitched Reese's peanut butter cup. Because you can buy a Reese's peanut butter cup in April, but it does not taste as good as the one that you have snitched while you're putting together the Halloween treat bags.
Oh, for sure.
That is better than any damn candy.
Have you guys heard the candy controversy? They did a poll on favorite Halloween candies, and Reese's made the top 10 in 2 places. One's for number 1 for the cups, but then it's somewhere like 7 or 8, somewhere down the line, the special edition pumpkins, and they'll do like eggs, but they're different. And I mean, the Snickers people were having a meltdown because they're like, wait a minute. Those are the same thing, but the Reese's aficionados are saying, no, it's got a different texture. And it's that cracked me up.
Yeah, somehow
funny.
I don't think that folks should be giving away our super fun penis candy or the, what were the big dick suckers that everybody loved at the Crypticon?
The cock pops.
Cock
Yes.
pops. Yeah,
Yes.
they're like 6-inch candy penises on a stick, which were just the hit, and people are actually posting pictures. I think we're gonna hashtag lollycocks or pops or whatever.
I think we'll have to keep it at cock pops. There
Cock
was
pops,
some,
yes.
business things that
Okay.
Yep. With different
political
names.
intrigue of the sex industry.
What was the hashtag that won, by the way, for the contest?
Dial O for orgasm.
Oh,
I loved it.
was
And being
done.
a bit of a Hitchcock nerd too,
It was beautifully classic. I loved it. I'm like, yeah, that one. I just loved it.
So have you guys seen the stupid commercial where the chick is talking about her pizza emoji, and it's Domino's allows you apparently to order with an emoji now? Have you heard about this?
No.
No.
You're kidding.
I am an emoji free person. It's too much freaking work.
Okay. Well,
It's only a button.
No, it's an extra. It's an extra thing I have to hit, and then and then I'm like, damn it, I don't want the stupid foot. Why is there a foot? I don't know.
Colleen,
No.
you can find a way to verklempt yourself over some of the craziest things. I am sorry, but you can.
I've decided over the weekend, especially as I was talking about figurines and stuff like that, that I have pretty much been a crazy old lady since I was a toddler, and I'm just pretty much going into it because I could just be confused.
Just lean into it.
Yeah, I'm just going with it. That's all there is to it.
Okay, so you have to tell me though. You did run across the fact that there's vagina emojis.
I did run across that story that there was a place you can get it, and I was looking at them, and I just kept being flummoxed, and I think it's already up on our page, or you can find it, or we can redo it and put it up top. It's the fact that some of them were like green, and I don't know about you.
I wouldn't want that connection being made.
I just don't think that green is a good color for any body part, much less your labia.
Probably not.
That would be bad. And some of them are cute and funny and stuff like that. And I know that there's a new emoji of like someone flipping you off and this and that. I mean, considering the fact that I find them useless anyway, the fact that I would put out there in the universe, in public, a body part emoji, just sort of, I'm like, oh, okay. But then again, it's not my thing. So if you really need your vagina emoji, is there? We'll have to look and see. I'm assuming that someone's made penis ones.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
are there other?
There has to be.
Okay, I have to admit now that I'm thinking out loud because Megan knows this is how I work. Little asshole emoji might be nice because if you're really pissed at someone, a little butthole would be nice.
I want a steaming pile of poop emoji.
There is poop.
Is there poop?
But I don't know if it's steaming.
It does not steam. No, it has little googly eyes.
Oh, 'cause
no
Google,
offense, because I have my alarm set up for work, and it's called Work Alarm, and then there's a picture of poop. because I'm getting up at 7 whatever in the morning since
Nice.
poopy.
Do you know, by the way, that there is a website out there? I don't even want to explain why I know this, but you can actually have a bag of poop sent to someone.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah, there's-
Have you ever looked at that site? They will do
No.
elephant poop. They will do you can pick gorilla poop. You can actually have it sent, and it's the only thing that sucks about the whole thing is that you can't get the card customized. The card says what the card says, and it's really stupid. I mean, for as amusing as that whole service
Well,
sounds,
obviously has to go like UPS because the post office is not taking, poop in the mail. I'm pretty sure that's on the list of things that you're not allowed to send through the mail. But then again, but who knows?
Where are they getting like a
zoo probably.
yeah,
Or
I guess.
it could be a way for a sanctuary. There's the word I want.
Yeah,
To make a couple
to
extra
make
bucks.
their money by selling off their animals' poop.
Yeah.
So people can send it to assholes.
right.
Okay.
I think it's genius, quite frankly. I do. So we have a story, Colleen. You found this, and I pulled it for you because I thought that I really want you to tell this particular story. This is pretty interesting stuff.
What about the 7 interesting clitoris facts?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it was ran across the feed a couple of weeks ago, and then last week we everyone was in death's door, so we were not here.
Yeah.
But you know what? These facts don't change. This is not it's going to do that.
It's timeless.
It's timeless. And what I found was fascinating is that it sort of related to a lot of our transgender talk too, because what you're finding is that the clitoris and the penis are the same thing. Because right around 12 weeks or something, when you've got your little zygote and your embryo and all these sort of things, that's when something clicks on and decides whether or not this clump of cells is going to become female body parts or male body parts.
Okay.
But the thing is that the part in your brain that decides whether or not you're going to be male or female doesn't turn on until months later.
Really?
So there's a disconnect between so it sort of underlies some of the other conversations we've had.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that at 12 weeks your body decides what it's going to physically look like. Hasn't decided what the brain's going to feel like. And I thought also was fascinating because there were 7 interesting facts that was that's fact number 1, that the clitoris and the penis are start at with the same cells.
Interesting. Yeah.
You're going through there.
This is really well written too. So I mean,
Yeah.
if there's a link to this,
Yeah,
we should probably put this
link
up
it
because
again.
this is really good.
And unlike the penis, only about 1/4 of it is visible. The majority of it is hidden. They're all about, it can be, around 5 inches. It extends around the labia. It goes back. It's a very intense organ. It has the longest one, according to the article here, was measured at 12 inches long.
Whoa.
That's a lot of nerve endings.
Yeah, it is.
Which is fascinating because one of the little fun facts on here is the fact that 29% of college women were unable to locate it on an anatomy diagram. Now, 25% of men weren't able to. So at least there's a 4% of guys that know a little bit more. But no one really pays attention, or most women are not taught what their bodies actually do.
That's lame.
And it is just a really interesting thing.
Okay, wait. Can I just ask you? Have you taught your daughter about that at all?
She knows where the body parts are, but we haven't gotten into the details yet.
Is that something
but
that
she
you're
does
willing
ask
to tell her
if
about?
She has, I'm assuming as she gets a little bit older and heads to college,
Yeah.
she occasionally things pop up, and I get there a little bit, but then I'll get I roll. I'm a horribly outdated, boring mom right now.
Okay.
So
Okay.
eventually we'll get back to
Being buddies.
having a conversation, and I'm fine with it. I love being an older parent because I just do not take this shit personally.
That's good.
I'm just like, well, whatever. And really, I think it annoys her that I don't take it personally. And I just go, look at you.
Oh, you're trying to push my buttons.
That's so cute.
Oh, who's a little rebel? They'll love that, I'm sure.
And so it is, like I said, it's a body part that I'm pretty sure was not covered in any of the health classes.
Indeed.
And I'll be curious to see. Health is required at her high school, and I think she's taking it next is it this year or whatever?
Do they still pair it with driver's ed? Or do they do that here?
No, driver's ed is gone now, at least in the Minneapolis school system. That's something that you do on your own separately.
Okay.
It's going through there.
Okay.
Which is another joy that I get to do soon. It'll be fine. That's what insurance is for.
Teach her about roundabouts. That was when you brought up road rage, that's my thing. Nobody seems to. Roundabouts are fantastic if you know how they work.
Most people don't.
And
so
most people don't know how they work.
And then people can get confused because they're not there to prevent accidents because they're still accidents. What they're there to do is to keep people from getting injured from head-on stuff, because you tend to have side swipes, you tend to have much lower speed mishaps, and so that's why and it does keep the traffic flowing better than coming to a complete stop. But it does. There is a learning curve that many folks in the U.S. are just they're unfamiliar with them.
Oh yeah.
If you're in the circle, don't stop until you're exiting. That's my PSA.
Thank you. Well, you're welcome.
Okay. Should we go into
Yeah.
Should we go to number 3?
Back to the clip. I'm sorry.
Back to that. It also gets an erection. Yeah. It is erectile tissue.
Really?
Because it starts at the same place.
Interesting.
And as it swells, it gets exposed more, and so it even makes it more sensitive. And there's 8,000 going into number 4 here. 8,000 nerve endings approximately in that. It's nearly double the penis because it's concentrated all in one area. So this is why, when women come into the store, and you can't say there's a one-size-fits-all vibrator because some people are just more sensitive than others. Some people might have a larger hood or a larger larger covering. I mean, there's a lot of different things. A lot of folks have it's different where their mind is on whether or not they're masturbating or whether or not they want to go down there, whether they want to talk about it. And so there's a lot of things that go into, like, here's the best-selling vibrator. Well, that may not work for you.
Oh, I hate when I got that question. What's the best vibrator? And I'm like, okay, I've got a laundry list of questions to ask before I can hazard anything.
And you know what works for different things, right? And you are able to ferret that out. All of you guys are, right? That's
Definitely.
really cool.
Yeah, let's go through there.
That is so cool.
But here's my favorite part, is that if you don't use it, you lose it.
Really?
Yeah. If the clitoris, I'll just read this because it's easier to go through there. If the clitoris goes unused, it will retreat into the body. And the hood will fuse closed, known as clitoral atrophy.
Oh, good God.
This is bad.
This is very bad.
That's my own separate thing there. Just like every other tissue in the body, the clitoris requires blood flow to stay happy and healthy. So whatever you do, give yourself some love at least a few times a week.
Really? How about that?
And
Fantasy Gifts loves hearing that.
and it grows. With changes and stuff going on in your body, it will be at the end. It starts off really tiny, because you start off tiny, and by the time you get to be about 32 years old, it's 4 times bigger than when you went through puberty, and by the time you're done growing, it's about 7 times bigger at birth. So you know what this means? It just means that you stay. It's possible. You are sexual your whole life. This body part, as long as you're using it, is going to stay healthy the whole time. It doesn't wear out.
Nice.
There is no there's erectile dysfunction. As long as you're using it, there's no clitoris dysfunction.
That's good news. That's one in the girl column finally,
And so I just, once it hits its maturity level, according to this, it maintains its pleasure capacity. And I'm like, maintaining your pleasure capacity? I said, there's a sentence that I'm like, I wholeheartedly endorse this.
I do too. You're
so, but here's a sentence that just made me giggle, because it says, because of this means that you'll be able to have the same mind-blowing orgasms at 90 years old as you did as a teenager. That's one hell of a lucky teenager, because as far as I know, most folks are still figuring that shit out.
I don't know. Mind-blowing it is.
No.
Well, once you have achieved the mind-blowing or whatever works for mind-blowing for you, you should be able to maintain that.
Oh, yeah.
The body part is not going to stop functioning. So like I said, the article will. I know that we posted it. We'll repost it up a little bit higher so it doesn't get lost in the stuff. But it is. I ran across this and I'm thinking. Like I said, it starts. Once again, it says to some extent how. We really aren't that different. I mean, the parts even start off in the same cells.
That's interesting. That is.
But they've, but they adjusted, and so use it or lose it is what we're, getting out of this.
I love that. Well, we've gone so long without mentioning. Megan is sitting here, by the way, surrounded by really interesting shiny objects today. What do you have over there, anyway?
Oh, I got a few things. We had picked up some stuff from Crypticon, and a lot of it sold really well. We kind of talked about the cock pops. A lot of people were buying the novelties and stuff, but the leftovers we're now dispersing out to the stores. One thing that's really cool, we got unicorn spit lubricant. Magically delicious, donut-flavored, water-based lubricant. So, and that is in our St. Paul store right now on 7th Street.
Okay.
Exactly. It puts the cream in the Krispy Kreme. We also got a lot of party cups. These actually sold really well. They're like toxic barrels. Mm-hmm. They glow in the dark. Perfect for Halloween. And our disco ball raver cups, which are super awesome. Actually, this one was for you, so you can have a drink out of the bling.
Nice. Thanks, guys.
Some of the things I didn't bring, too, we did have a few. We got in, I talked a little bit about Thor's hammer last time I was here. So from Doc Johnson, we got some of the superhero line, Caped Cock, the web shooter, Wonder... Oh, what's the non-way to get sued? What are they? I think they just call it Wonder Pussy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So that's at all the stores. We got like the Alien, the Dracula, the Zombie, fleshlights for men, dildos for women. Those are all getting dispersed. Then we also got the very traditional Bob, the battery-operated boyfriend. So I wonder if you can hear a little... Oh, there it goes. There's his pulsation patterns.
Oh,
so
nice.
It is a red.
It's hysterically funny.
We'll
hand it over.
Snap a picture of it. Get it
Yeah,
online.
we'll have to take a picture of all this. It is literally a red guy. His head is like a traditional body wand, kind of Hitachi style head to it.
I love this.
But it's just a little man, and he is there. He is your battery-operated boyfriend.
I'm having a riot. Oh, my God. And his head bobs around.
It just made me giggle because they're describing it. And I'm like, oh, my God, it's exactly how they described it.
It is.
Oh, my God.
Because you think, oh, weird. So it's a vibrator kind of shaped like a guy. And then you see it, and you're like, oh, yeah.
It's
a little cartoon, little cartoon torso. Mm-hmm. It's all red.
Adorable. This is adorable.
That's from Screaming O. They do a lot of that fun. We carried their vibrating mustache for a while. They do a lot. Their Paco Taco. It's like a taco-shaped stroker for men that is actually really amazing because it works for someone of any... It's open, like a taco shell. Mm-hmm. So it's nice because it works for any size guy, which is pretty sweet.
Cool.
So they have really fun stuff that actually are pretty functional and are often pretty amusing, kind of like a novelty aspect as well. So Bob has also been making his way out to all the stores.
Oh my God. I got to take a picture. I got to send you this picture that I just took of Bob here on the console. I think Bob is going to have to, I'm going to have to
run the board a little bit.
He's going to be like the Travelocity gnome. Can I borrow Bob? I would like to photograph Bob in different situations for a little while. He's so cute. This is awesome. What does Bob retail for?
Bob is $29.95.
Have you and Bob ever spent any time together?
No, he is real new. He's real new to the company, so we have not had a good chance to get acquainted yet.
Okay, well, I definitely want to know what you think once you do. This is too funny. I'm going to take pictures of Bob. Okay, guys, we had a really superb guest, and we've actually banked another interview with Rice and Beans. We're going to be playing that. We have to make a decision as to when we want to bring their show out. We had a really nice time. Rice and Beans, for those of you who've been with us for months, they are part of the swinging lifestyle. They're a married couple, but they also have a really killer photo business, and they do everything from boudoir all the way up into actual sex and video and stuff like that. They're very, very cool. So it was fun to talk about that and their experiences, but wasn't it cool, Colleen, to have, and this is one you're going to definitely not want to miss, to have a swinging couple talk about it together?
Yeah, it was really nice because a lot of times they were, talk about how the relationship works for them. Mm-hmm. Because if you listen to one, you're like, well, what does the other person think? Mm-hmm. And, they had no problem discussing about how much communication was important to them. Mm-hmm. And, something that they've really figured out. And I thought was absolutely, fascinating that way. So I'm not sure when we'll run this one. Like I said, we, considering the fact that if the crud continues to wander around, we might we need to have a show where we're not dying.
I know.
It has been absolutely fascinating because it just is so much stuff going around.
Yeah, it really has.
But it was really nice to come in on this past Saturday and just to have a conversation without the oons behind it, and to just really get to meet them. And they're just the
nicest people.
Oh, it's just so pleasant. It's just so much fun to talk to. You could have just sat back and talked for a long time. But you're like, okay, we now have to rein this in.
Yeah, we went a little long on that one because it was just so much fun. And I mean, there's so much material. We're going to have them back. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to bring them in sometime actually too, and get have Michael and Meg come from their perspectives too, because I think Michael could bring a really interesting line of questioning to that mix as well. And Beans is, for a guy, he is such an open book and so okay with himself and everything, so.
No, it's just, like I said, I really enjoyed the conversation, and we'll get that up as, next few weeks.
So, but before that, we talked to Denise Burke, and Denise Burke is a trans female. Mm-hmm. And it was a really interesting show. And so we had that, on just a couple weeks ago. So I've been going back and binge watching the L Word. I'd forgotten the series, and I ran across an episode that was on Showtime just airing, and I'm like, I'm going to go back and watch that again. Wow, I couldn't believe, number one, how much I'd forgotten. But there's a story arc in there about a transitioning a female to male person. And I thought it was really interesting, that conversation that we had with Denise Burke here today in 2015. And this would have been taped around 2006 or 2007. And the difference in what's going on with trans then and how it was looked at even in the gay community then versus now. Holy moly. And it's not even a solid decade. It's just, stuff has changed so much, Colleen. Have you been seeing the acceleration?
Yeah, there's been just so much when it comes to just visibility and understanding and acceptance. Not that there still isn't a whole bunch of horrible crap out there too, but there has been, I think, a tipping point to where folks are just like, screw it, I'm not hiding anymore. This is who I am. And if that keeps people, it might make some folks uncomfortable, but keeping the other folks safer out, totally over, is more important than whether someone else is uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Well, exactly. And I thought it was really interesting. The writing on that show was always really good anyway, but they really, I think, captured a lot of just the dilemma and the trials that these people face, even in their own communities. It was really interesting. So I don't know if anybody knows anyone that's doing that. You should go back and watch. It's like season 3 and 4, I think, are the ones where they're really dealing with it. But anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up. Did you guys hear about the iHop tweet that caused just a big hairy deal?
Oh, no.
I missed. Yeah, I did have to admit I missed this one.
Okay.
So I do know that that I haven't eaten at an IHOP in a while, because just looking at the pictures puts me into diabetic coma.
Right.
I also know these stories always scare me as someone who does the tweeting. I'm like, oh God, you say the one wrong thing.
I'm gonna preface this by saying I thought it was freaking hilarious personally. Okay, but it was a picture of pancakes and it said flat but has a great personality. and they were absolutely vilified for being sexist. Okay. No, I'm sorry, but that's funny. I mean, or not. Or do you guys, are you offended?
Well, it does tend to go into a lot of old stereotypes when you're going through there that, that unless you've got a big bust, you're not desirable.
Yeah.
I was going through there. I do think that pretty much everyone, and I know that you probably step aside, before you hit send on a lot of different things, where you should definitely have the app that says, do you really want to send this?
Yeah.
Before it goes on there.
Although it wouldn't help because I don't. That's the ones that always get me, where it's not a mistake, but they, they just they put out what they think is a joke, and then people just take
Somebody's always, but that's what gets me. There's always going to be somebody.
Yeah, there's no not offending someone, but to sit around sort of like there was just certain things you're like, who's going to grab it? Is it going to take? Was it prefaced before they put it out, or did they? How was it done? And I don't know if it would be possible to say it's an old stereotype, but if it had been acknowledged, or something like that, or who knows?
I just don't think it matters because is it really going to stop people
from being offended?
Or stop people from eating at IHOP? I mean, if anything, it's not necessarily bad press for them.
No, I mean, they put out a big apology and all of that kind of stuff. But I was reading some of the highlighted tweets back from the people that were so outraged. And I'm just like, who has time to be that upset about something that is
Pancakes.
Not involved in their actual life? I mean, really, I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, if I don't like something, I just don't, like you said, no more Hobby Lobby for Megan. You voted with your feet, with their decision to not provide contraception as part of their healthcare plan for their employees, and that's fair. I mean, there's certain companies whose political views I will not patronize them for the same reason, for things that they support. But yeah, I just thought I'd throw that out there. I thought it was funny, guys. Before we wrap it up today, I found. Hi, Bob. There's Bob. I'm petting Bob. It's so cute. There's some site out there, and there's all different sexuals that I did not know. There's some I have not heard of, and I wanted to see if you did. Okay? Real quick, here on the Great Northern Sex Cast. Okay, and asexual. I think we can all pretty much agree we've heard of that. Okay, so that is no sexual attraction, and this is from asexuality.org. That's okay. What about aromantic?
Well,
No.
Ever heard that one? That's
I can figure out what it is.
Yeah, there's an actual term out there. An aromantic is a person who experiences little or no romantic attraction to others. Okay. Gray sexual, and this is not a 50 Shades of Grey fan. Gray sexual
Or aliens.
Okay, it's it's that space between asexual and sexuality. They're kind of halfway in between. They're in the gray zone. It's out there.
How about that's just life? Sorry.
Right? Or the time of, demisexual?
That would be the half.
Demi Lovato lovers.
Or Demi Moore.
Demi Glaze? You like beef stock? What? I don't. What, okay.
This is someone.
No, you're losing us on these ones.
I know. You guys, I didn't think that there was possible that this was going to. Okay, this one is a person who identifies as demisexual doesn't typically feel sexual attraction unless they've already formed a strong emotional bond with the person.
That's called being human.
I
think someone's trying to sell a book. It's
not a book.
It's not usually or a blog post. This sounds like shit that's made up.
Demi-romantic. It's like a demisexual. They can't get romantic. Okay, lithromantic. Ever heard of that one? Okay,
come up and see my lithographs. What are we talking about?
Oh, is this today's version of the etching?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is pretty hot. That would get me going.
A person who experiences romantic love but does not want their feelings to be reciprocated. That sounds like a fetish almost, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Pansexual, we all know what that one is.
You love the God Pan.
Sure. Polysexual. May be attracted to some gender vibrant people but not have the desire to be with others.
Once again, human.
Okay. And then they go into panromantic. But the reason why I clicked on this is because the link was, do you know what a scoliosexual is? And I'm like, I'll bite. What's that? Have you ever heard of that one?
You like people with bent spines?
Exactly. I thought of scoliosis. Sexual attraction to non-binary identified individuals, or those who do not identify as cisgender.
But that would fall under pansexual.
Well,
Yes,
I know. And then they have one in here called queer platonic. And not romantic, but very close emotional connections, deeper or more intense than what is traditionally considered a friendship. Does that make any sense to you whatsoever?
No,
Okay.
no.
Because this actually came from asexuality.org. And they have one more definition that's on their website, zucchini, which, I've always thought of as, squash kind of thing. The name for a partner who is involved in a queer platonic relationship. He's my zucchini. Anyone? Bueller? Have you heard that?
I have not.
That
No.
folks are working too hard for too many definitions.
Yeah,
Now, because I suppose that you could take almost any subgroup and break it down and break it down and break it down and break it down, but at one point it becomes absurd. And if I'm wrong, go ahead, tell me, that's fine. But I think we may have hit on my own personal thought here that pretty much they all sounded way too close to subcategorize.
Right.
That's a little, yeah.
I feel like they've jumped the sexual shark
Yes.
Okay.
on that one.
But here, in all seriousness, guys, here is the thing that I thought was interesting about this story is remember when we were talking to Denise, and again, I kind of saw this within those episodes of the L Word that I was catching recently. There is so much still nebulousness within the communities and disagreement and everything else. It's like they're splitting hairs even, and the people that we've had in here, the trans people we've spoken to, have even said, there's factions within factions. And so I thought that was sort of an interesting social commentary on how this is all still evolving and nobody really agrees on anything yet.
Yeah. Well, and what's weird is like the whole point is, they're trying to not conform to what society's rules of sexuality of the I am a straight female and will have sex with straight males. Like they want to not conform, but then break themselves down to these teeny tiny, so specific boxes. And it's like, if you're not going to conform to society as a whole, why conform to the idea that you are pan-romantic versus pansexual versus
platonic.
You like scoliosis or whatever. Whatever it was that
you have a zucchini.
Right.
Denise hit on that, remember?
Yeah, the fact that, that her truth was her truth and stuff like that. And how about just, we'll just call it like personal sexual. I am my person and I am sexual one way or another.
Persexual.
A persexual.
A persexual.
A human sexual. A body sexual. Own sexuality.
The problem, what about the people who think, the other kin people who think they're dragons or furries, or then they can't be human sexual.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay, I think I'm getting a headache now.
I know, it's a dangerous spiral.
Well, guys, yes?
All I'm saying is, I suppose if you need, if in your brain you need to give yourself a label and it helps you go forward, I can't not say that that's a bad thing. Like, in general, even though we sometimes get silly here, but I also know that I read a lot about once you label something that you're constrained by it.
Yeah.
So I guess whichever one works better for you, that's fine. But to not let it be your only definition. And I don't care what your label is, that you're willing to look outside or do this or that. But that would be my only little serious comment on that. Because I just find that, I'm like, okay.
But as usual, you come in as the voice of reason. And you are. I mean, you are so Like, I mean, if I ever went on trial for anything, I want her on my jury. Seriously, I'm not kidding. So on that note, should we wrap it, guys?
Wrap it.
yeah.
Wrap it up.
Okay, wait,
it's the way to do.
We got to say bye to Bob.
We say bye to Bob, and we did have my mom and Sarah and Tara at a buying show last week. So next week we can
are
talk.
they coming?
I don't know if they're coming, but we can talk a little. We've got some notes, and we can talk about what might be coming in. Someone's having way too much fun, and what's going.
Just be
there.
glad you can still hear it.
Yeah.
Because once the sound goes away.
Yeah, it's not too muffled, so everything's just fine here. It's all PG-13 in the studio here. But no, we can talk about, like I said, there's some stuff going on in sex toy land and stuff like that. We'll hit
Babes
that
in
next
sex
week.
toy land. Okay, that's next week's show title. All right, everybody, have a good one.
Bye.